Hi, everyone. Welcome to our session. We are so glad to have you here with us this evening. My name is Michelle Prince. I'm an assistant director in the Office of Admissions here at Syracuse University. I'm just keeping an eye on the waiting room as people come into our session this evening. So I'll just give that another few seconds and then we will begin. Great. Well, to get us started this evening, I just would like to say congratulations. I don't know if the students that are here this evening have had a chance to attend any of our other programming. So if you have not, congratulations from myself, from the university. We are so happy to have you here as part of our admitted student population, and we hope that you're going to join us here on campus. This evening, we are going to talk about 3 wonderful programs at the university. Our theme here tonight is experiential learning. We're going to hear from the Renee Crown Honors Program. We're going to hear from our Blackstone Launchpad, and we're going to hear from the Source. So you'll get a better understanding of what it's like not only to be a student that is in an academic program here at Syracuse, but what you can do to take advantage of different resources at the university. So what I'd like to do right now is I would actually like to turn it over to our honors program. So Naomi, if you would like to join us, you're going to hear from Naomi first about the honors experience at Syracuse University.
Thank you for that introduction, Michelle. Congratulations again to all of you for your acceptance to Syracuse University. I want to briefly share with you a little bit about the Renee Crown University Honors Program. The honors program supports the academic aspirations of highly motivated students from all the schools and colleges at SU. Outstanding students like yourselves who are looking for sustained intellectual challenge, and they are prepared to put in that extra effort to meet that challenge. And our goal here is just to integrate the intimacy and community commonly found in smaller colleges with the diversity and opportunity that our large campus here offers. And students in the honors program enroll in fascinating discussion-based seminar courses. They pursue cutting-edge faculty-guided research, creative or professional work in their field. They also participate in special cultural and academic events. And so perhaps at this point you're wondering, what distinguishes an honors class? Honors classes focus on interdisciplinarity, experiential, and collaborative learning. And they are taught by some of the most distinguished university here at SU. And because of the small class sizes, our students are able to engage deeply with the content through discussions, hands-on activities, and out-of-class activities, as well as field trips. And the field trip destinations range from right here in the city of Syracuse, statewide trips across New York State, across the country, and even out of the country. And just an example of a recent trip out of the country was a class on environmental governance that made a trip to Geneva in Switzerland to participate in a conference there on mercury. And just to give you examples of some of the classes that we will be offering this coming fall, we will have a class on the science of shipwrecks. That is a class that is taught by an earth sciences professor who is also a former dean of the College of Arts and Sciences. And in this class, students will explore scientific aspects of shipwrecks, such as oceanography, marine technology. And if the public health situation allows, this class is going to go on a field trip to an oceanographic research center, possibly somewhere in Massachusetts. We are also going to have a class on baseball in American culture. And this is a class that is taught by a sport management professor. And in this class, students examine the ways in which baseball has helped to shape contemporary literature, film, and advertising over the past 150 years. Again, depending on the public health situation, this class is likely to visit the National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum in Cooperstown, New York, which is not too far from Syracuse. And they also take advantage of the university's proximity to the Washington Nationals AAA affiliate, the Syracuse Chiefs. Another class that we are going to be offering is a class on the ethics of emerging technology. And this is a class that is taught by a public policy professor from the Maxwell School. And in this class, students draw from the perspectives and traditions of moral and political philosophy to look at issues such as surveillance, technology, social media, gene editing, self-driving cars. And students will also engage with concepts such as privacy, justice, fairness, and human flourishing. And so that just gives you an insight into the range of diversity of classes that we offer in the honors program. Let me now say a little bit about the honors thesis project, which is one of the requirements that honors students have to complete in order to be certified with honors. The thesis project is the students' opportunity to complete a significant research or creative project in their discipline or in their major under the mentorship of a faculty member. And they can be screenplays, engineering projects, performances, films, paintings, you name it. Graduating seniors routinely cite or tell us that this is the most lasting, important academic part of the undergraduate education. And the honors program provides funding to support these thesis projects, and students get funding, or students in the past have received funding to conduct research across the country, across the state, here on campus, and even out of the country. We have funded research projects in India, in Spain, in England, in China, in Kenya, in Chile, and many other international destinations. One other thing that we strive to do in the honors program is community building. We like to foster an environment for connecting students with each other and with honors faculty. And so we design programming to make this possible. We organize a variety of events throughout the semester that include honors footnotes and honors cafes and open houses and research fairs. And so we're always looking for opportunities of programming that will provide an opportunity for our students to engage with one another, with honors faculty and the larger Syracuse University community. And finally, let me say something about honors advising. Because honors students are pursuing different programs across the schools and colleges, each of them is assigned an honors advisor to guide them as they map out their individual path through honors. They meet regularly to discuss the optimum path for completing honors requirements, as well as other opportunities that align with their academic and career goals and interests. Our honors advisors have extensive experience and know all about the resources that the university has to offer. And in addition to the honors advisor, usually honors students are assigned a peer mentor in their first year here on campus, and that peer mentor usually will be available to support them as they navigate their first year at SU. For more information about how you can be a part of the honors program and more information about all the programming and the honors requirements, please visit our website, honors.syr.edu. If you're looking to, if you think that the honors program is a good fit for you, please submit an application. Follow the link for high school applicants under the admissions tab to access the application, or you will be required to submit a 650-word essay in response to one of the two given prompts. The deadline for applying for Fall 21 consideration is April 15th, which is next week. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us. Send an email to honors@syr.edu, and we will get back to you as soon as we can. Congratulations once again, and we hope to see many of you here in the fall. Next, you're going to hear from Nick. Nick is the project management consultant at the Blackstone Launchpad here at SU. Thank you, and have a great evening.
Thank you so much, Naomi. Hi, my name is Nick, and I help run programming at the Blackstone Launchpad and Techstars at SU Library. And we are the university's innovation hub at SU Libraries. So we work with researchers, inventors, creatives, and entrepreneurs from across campus and around the world, 118 countries. We do two things. First, we help those who want to build and create bring their ideas to life. So it can come from scratch, straight from the head, a day before, come to the Launchpad, we'll help you build it. We also, for those who want to just explore, we are a creative community that helps build innovation leadership skills for your life and for your career. So we're the center of campus innovation, and we're connected to a powerful network through Techstars, which is one of the premier startup and accelerator programs in the world. They have global programming, and they award funding and have accelerators and fellowships for students to take part in year-round. We have access to world-class mentors, industry experts, collaborators, and investors, and both through Techstars and through our own network of growing alumni, because now we're about 5 years old, and already our alumni have been super successful all around the nation and all around the world, and I'll get a little bit into that in a bit. Our students have launched more than 125 companies, raised more than $43 million in outside investment, and have won more than $3.5 million in business competitions as students. 4 were named to Forbes 30 Under 30 list this year, and 1 was on the season premiere of Shark Tank this year and walked away with $1 million shaking hands with Mark Cuban. They've had stories written about them in the New York Times, Mashable, Newsweek, Adweek, PBS, TechCrunch, and we've been live on television through the ACC network on PBS for the annual Inventure Prize multiple times. In fact, one of our students right now is competing as we speak in the ACC Inventure Prize, hoping to be on live television next week. They've published 7 books, produced 35 award-winning films, launched mobile apps, brought exciting products to market, created nonprofit organizations, and they've been hired at some of the leading innovation companies around the world, including Virgin Orbit, Tesla, Amazon, Google, Deloitte Innovation, and Netflix. They've launched their own companies in sectors like food, fashion, health, fitness, e-commerce, you name it, the list goes on. And they've tackled big, wicked social problems such as food access, literacy, poverty, sustainability, access to healthcare, both mental and physical, and many, many more sectors. We've also won global competitions in the wicked social problem sector through the Holtz Prize, which is an annual competition that is global and sends students all around the world. I've gone to Toronto through the Launchpad, and the potential to go to a mansion in London and compete for $1 million. Unfortunately, I didn't get that one. The Launchpad is the place where you will meet students from across campus and around the world. It's a creative community that is a gathering place for ideas. It's the best and brightest working together on novel ideas together. That's because we're teaching you the skills to be innovation leaders in your company and hopefully in your own business that you start. Students come to the Launchpad not only to start companies though. We start their personal journeys as leaders, as innovation leaders within companies, to work together in a warm and inclusive environment on things like discovery, problem solving, team building, and other personal skills to launch their careers. And sometimes very, very successful startups. Our approach is to wrap you with support. We do that constantly. Just last week, I met with a student that reached out for the first time with an idea she came up with a couple weeks ago. And in one meeting, I had her connected with 2 mentors and 3 industry experts. And her response was, I did not expect one single email to progress me so far in my idea. And that's what we aim to do. We want to connect you to global opportunities within our network and beyond it. And our goal is to make you great doers. We invite you to be a part of our creative community. It will change your life. It certainly has changed mine. I graduated last year and I'm still here. And now it is my pleasure to introduce my great colleague, Kate Hansen, who runs the Source program. Please feel free to ask any questions in the chat or via email.
Thank you so much, Nick. So the Launchpad is located in Byrd Library, as is our office, the Source, the Syracuse Office of Undergraduate Research and Creative Engagement. We're an office that supports students in any phase of the research and creative work journey. And I often like to start by just quickly talking about what is research exactly. And it's as simple as asking a question. That's how it starts. It begins with curiosity, you know, the desire to learn more about a topic and ask a set of questions about it. Then students, you know, look around, see what other artists, scholars, practitioners, what are the ways that other people have tried to answer similar questions. And then sort of using the tools of your field of study, which, you know, could range from painting to data collection to, you know, chemical reactions in a lab, right? So use those tools to try to answer your questions and then share your results, share that, the results that you found and sort of re-enter the conversation. So what I think is really exciting about students participating in research is that you know, change from being the recipient of knowledge to playing a part in producing new knowledge and making new discoveries and giving us new ways to think about the world and its problems and issues and ideas. So it's a really exciting experience for students. There are a lot of benefits to participating in research. Not, you know, one of, I think, the most significant benefits is working closely with a faculty mentor. It's a wonderful way to develop a relationship with a professor outside of the classroom that can really help you grow intellectually, creatively with your project. You know, it's that applying the knowledge that is learned in the classroom to real world problems, learning valuable skills that can be used on the, you know, in future jobs and work, as well as in graduate study. So there are a lot of benefits to participating in research. And I think, again, one of the best benefits is often what the students struggle with, which is failure. You know, research always takes students on a twisty journey. And so experiencing, you know, a bit of failure and then pivoting and adjusting your work to respond to that is a really great skill that also is developed. So some examples of student projects that are going on right now. Nicole, a psychology student, is doing a project on the experiences of Puerto Rican students attending college in the United States and their academic performance in the immediate time period after Hurricane Maria. Let's see, we have Bailey, an engineering student, doing lab work around 4D printing. Neva, a student studying both art photography and forensic science, who's combining those two fields of study to examine sort of the narrative, the visual narrative of the crime scene. Nick, a student doing work with poplar as a potential for a more eco-friendly source of fuel. And then we also have students that work with professors as research assistants on their projects. So there's a really exciting team right now working on the concept of an urban food forest. So a place for the community to forage for wild edibles. We've got a team of students working with a political science professor on gathering materials for a database around refugee policy, a huge project. So she was able to bring in undergraduate students to assist with that. So students, you know, go on to publish their work in journals, give conference presentations, submit their work to film festivals or artistic competitions. And I hope also that my examples highlight that research happens in every field and every major at Syracuse. What form it takes is very different. But again, it just starts with that sense of asking a question. So what our office does is help students at any point in the journey. We have workshops and training, a peer mentoring program. You'll hear from a couple of our student research mentors in a moment. We offer significant funding for students to give them, you know, supplies, materials, summer stipends, things to kind of make the research happen. So we have grants of up to $5,000 that students can apply for. And we also have grants for faculty to hire students into paid research assistant positions. So we're sort of here to help students anywhere from what is research again and how do I get involved to, helping them polish a final presentation that they're making at a conference. And you'll hear a little bit more from our students in a bit. So I will transition back to Michelle. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kate. It was so nice to hear from everyone this evening. What I would like to do now is I would like to invite some of our current students and recent alums to join us, or join me, I should say, on screen. And we're going to have a nice conversation about what it's like to be a student at Syracuse University and to be involved in these programs. So if I could ask our student panelists to come back on screen, that would be wonderful. So if you are here in the background, please feel free to join me. Julia, Gretchen, Sam, welcome, Will. Great, glad to have everybody back on. I'm actually going to stop sharing my screen now so our audience just can see us for this evening. So thank you all for joining me this evening. It's so great to have you here with me. What I want to do now is really tell our prospective students about what it's like at Syracuse and the things that you're involved in. So if we could, we can go, maybe we'll go in the order of my screen first, which is Julia, Sam, Gretchen, and Will. If you could just start by introducing yourself, sharing your hometown, your major, and then your year at Syracuse.
Hi, everyone. I'm Julia. I am originally from Eugene, Oregon, and I'm a fourth-year architecture major and women's and gender studies minor.
Hi, guys. I'm Sam Hollander. I'm from Pleasantville, New York. I'm a Whitman Newhouse dual studying finance and advertising, and I'm a junior at Syracuse.
Hi everyone, my name is Gretchen and I'm from Palatine, Illinois. I'm a junior at Syracuse studying political science and political philosophy.
Hi, I'm Will. I'm from Long Island, New York. I'm a recent alumnus from the class of 2020. And did I miss anything? No, that was it. Oh, and I studied TV, radio, film with a minor in marketing.
Thanks, Will. It's hard to go last. So for our next question, Will, how about this? Why don't you go first? So my next question is actually about the Blackstone Launchpad. So this question is going to be for Will and Sam this evening. So how has your involvement with the Blackstone Launchpad, how has that shaped your experience at Syracuse?
Yeah, I think the most important thing about the Launchpad is that it's first and foremost a community of entrepreneurial minded individuals. I got to meet people from across all different schools and colleges with my time at the Launchpad. As an employee there, I kind of fell into the Launchpad. It wasn't something that I independently sought out because I had a company that I was starting. I knew Linda, who is the executive director of the Launchpad, because she taught an introductory entrepreneurship course that I was taking for my minor. And I showed up one day and it was actually for Sam. I do video content. So Linda was like, I'll make this quick. You're hired. Get in the car. I need you to make a video for this kid. He's applying for a competition with South by Southwest. I was like, great. And my time there never slowed down after that. There's always something happening. There's just like an energy in the Launchpad that I think encapsulates a lot of what Syracuse is in terms of energy as well. It's its own little microcosm, and there's always something new going on.
Yeah, and I also think it's really important to highlight that not everybody who comes into the Launchpad is an entrepreneur, but rather people who are innovative, entrepreneurial minded, people who are like forward thinkers. And that's kind of what makes the Launchpad such a great community. You know, we have students who have gone on to raise tens of millions of dollars in outside funding for their ventures. And we have students who come in saying, hey, I want to, do a bit of like more research on a project, maybe turn it into a venture. Hey, I'm looking to join a venture, or I'm just looking to be a part of a community that's of very like-minded, fast-paced, entrepreneurial, innovative thinkers. And so they come into the Launchpad, and that has really been, at least for me, what's really shaped my experience at SU is being able to be around those people in a community in the Launchpad. For me, that's invaluable.
Thank you. I appreciate you both sharing so much in detail about your experiences in the Launchpad. Sam, I have one follow-up question for you. So how has the mentorship network within the Launchpad, the Give First ideals of the Launchpad, how has that prepared you for building your venture and also for seeking funding?
Yeah, so, the Launchpad is such a great place for multiple reasons. And, I just mentioned some of them, but, at the end of the day, as an entrepreneur, a student entrepreneur, someone who's trying to build a company, raise funding, the Blackstone Launchpad powered by Techstars has a network of people from Blackstone and Techstars who they kind of help bring expertise to the table. So I've met with, executives at Blackstone. I've met with some of the people that are in the Techstars network, and I've done kind of programs that have been run through the Launchpad where it's kind of structured so you can meet these people at these companies. And then also the Blackstone Launchpad has ample, we run like maybe 6 or 7 different business plan competitions every year where there's cash funding up for grabs. And we have students from almost every, actually not almost every college and college across the university come in, pitch their ideas, and they're able to win funding for their ideas. So that's one way that the university and the Launchpad have really kind of helped me develop, kind of that give first mentality.
Thank you, Sam. It's so nice to hear about all of the opportunities for funding as well, because I think that's so important as you start, your own projects and your own companies. And also hearing that it's not just business students, it's really students from every single program or every single college within the university. So thank you for sharing a little bit more about Blackstone. Now I'd like to kind of shift and talk about honors for a moment because we have Gretchen and Julia here. So thank you, Gretchen and Julia, for joining us. So Julia, I'm going to start with you. Can you tell me how the honors experience at Syracuse has really shaped your academic and your social experience?
Definitely. So I mentioned that I was an architecture major, and that is a huge part of my identity and my academic experience at Syracuse. But definitely being in honors helped me widen my view and my scope of my social life as well as my academic life at Syracuse. And so being in honors courses, it led me actually to declare my minor, taking diverse courses on music and also feminist architecture theories. It led me to declare that minor and then also then pursue research later on. And so I definitely met a lot of really important people in my social life, and it led me to also join a sorority and do other things socially on campus.
Thank you, Julia. And Gretchen, what about you? Can you share a little bit about your honors experience?
Yeah, I would just kind of add to what Julia said about expanding the different topics that you're learning in class. I'm a political science major. So some of my honors classes have been really related to that, to get a more in-depth look at US politics or foreign policy. But I've also taken a stand-up comedy class through honors. I took a zoo management class where we went to the Syracuse Zoo and talked with the people who work at the zoo. So it's just a cool way to challenge you to think outside of the box and kind of get exposed to other areas that I wouldn't otherwise. And then the social experience, that was super important for me freshman year. So I lived in the honors learning community inside Sadler, which is the freshman dorm for honor students. And I met all of my best friends right away at freshman orientation. And that was such an important support network for me freshman year and beyond. I still live with these people and I love them. So I think that social experience has been really important for me going forward as well.
Thank you. And I'm going to ask Will to talk a little bit about the same question. So, we've heard from Will about the Blackstone Launchpad, but Will is also involved in honors, or was involved in honors as a student here. So Will, would you mind talking about how honors shape your experience?
Yeah, obviously the things that Julia and Gretchen went into, but I mean, as someone who had I did my honors thesis, as someone who graduated from the program, I think just in terms of the resources for creative projects, there aren't a lot of funded opportunities on campus. There are plenty of ways to find it. Honors is just a great example of one of the easiest ways to get funding for your projects. I was able to create a budget for myself for a choose your own adventure film for my thesis. And that's something that I couldn't have done if I didn't have the freedom through the honors program in order to do that. And then I was able to choose my own advisors throughout the project to kind of guide me through it and work on what was basically my own schedule, which was great because I was able to do all of my production during my winter vacation and then move into post-production for my senior spring. So I think in terms of personalized structure and creativity, the honors thesis is great for people who are trying to pursue some kind of large creative endeavor within their time at Syracuse.
Thank you. Thank you. So you'll see here, as our conversation has kind of flowed this evening, students are not just involved in one area of campus. They're not just in the source or just in honors or just working, in the Blackstone Launchpad. Students are really taking advantage of multiple areas of campus. So both Gretchen and Julia are also involved in the source. And so what I'd like to do now is ask them another question about their involvement in the source. So Gretchen, I don't know if you want to go first this time, but could you share how the source has really enhanced your major and your personal interests as well?
Yeah, so at the source, I'm a student research mentor, which basically means I get to help out with various aspects of like what it takes to run the source office live. I'm part of the social media team, so you should definitely follow us on social media. But also meet with other students to talk through their research projects and help them like kind of brainstorm ideas or get feedback on presentations, that kind of a thing. And it's just so inspiring every time I meet with another student, like to hear about projects they're working on that I had no idea could even be pursued. And just so fascinating to hear about all the different fields. And the sources also helped me with my own research. So I was getting started on this initiative about voter turnout in my home state of Illinois last year. And one of the very first things I did with this was actually present. Usually presentations come at the end of a research project, but I started right at the beginning, and it was kind of presenting why I came up with the idea and how I was getting started. And that really helps me clarify my ideas, get practice public speaking, which I did a lot of through this initiative, and really just kind of crystallize the impact that I wanted to make with it. So the source is really helpful for every stage of the research process.
Thank you, Gretchen. And Julia, what about you?
Yeah, similar to Gretchen. Well, Gretchen and I actually work together as student research mentors, and so I interact with her a lot. But as a student research mentor, I get to help out and listen to other people's interests and also help students apply for grants. And then also we hold workshops for every step of the process of applying for a grant for undergraduate research to preparing a presentation and making a research poster. And so every step of the way, there are many student research mentors from different schools and different expertise. And so they offer different perspectives, which is really great. And I also gain kind of new perspectives in listening to my coworkers and also listening to students and what they're working on. And then I am also currently working on my own grant at the source. It's entitled Constructing Differences, and it intersects my major and my minor, and it looks at spatial belonging, accessibility and architecture, and looking at inclusion and exclusion and how the built environment dictates that.
Thank you for sharing that. It's so great to hear about all of the different projects that people are working on, the research, and then the support that you're all giving to other students within the university. So thank you for sharing your experiences as we talked about the source, the Blackstone Launchpad, and our honors program. My next question, though, is going to be a little bit about what else you're involved in on campus. So Sam, I'd like to start with you. Can you tell me outside of what we've already talked about, what are some of the areas that you're involved in on campus?
Yeah, so I'm involved with a lot of different things on campus. First and foremost, obviously, the Launchpad. But besides that, I am a member of the Newhouse Center for Digital Media Entrepreneurship. I work with students. I'm a student employee at the Launchpad, so I work with students to help them build and develop their venture. I'm doing some outside kind of advertising and PR work on the side as kind of more freelance. And so, you know, the university has really provided, you know, ample ways for me to kind of get hands-on experience and not just the classroom experience, because the classroom experience is important. But having that kind of hands-on experience and what you want to go into is equally as important. So, you know, those are just a few things I'm involved in.
Thanks, Sam. Before we move on, I'd just like to note, Sam does not have a virtual background. We're watching the sunset over the city of Syracuse right now. So you have a great view of campus. That is actually a real view of campus behind Sam today. So thank you, Sam, for that awesome background.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day out.
Yes, yes. So thank you. Will, now we'll move on to you. Will, can you tell me, when you were on campus, what are some of the things that you were involved in?
Yeah, something that I love plugging that I was heavily involved in are first year transfer student programs on campus. So I was a part of two, actually. So I was in Orange Seeds, which is a leadership and professional development program with like a community service aspect as well. So you're doing a lot of service within the greater Syracuse community, as well as learning like foundational skills for leadership and professionalism. And I was also a part of first year players. I was actually the director for that my senior year, which was awesome, even though we did not get to put on a musical because COVID happened. But first year players is a student theater organization for non-majors, not specifically just non-majors, but like it's mainly made up of non-majors because people who are in the performing arts school have to stay over there for their freshman year. Where basically the cast, crew, and pit of a musical are all made up of either freshmen or transfer students every year, and the organization is completely student run. All of these orgs are awesome because you get paired up with mentors just to help really bring you into the college experience. I think that they're also built up in a way where you get to kind of give back to the freshmen after you've gotten older. So as a senior, working on the e-board and collaborating with people who have been my best friends since my freshman year and delivering a positive experience to people who are new to Syracuse campus was super, super rewarding and really made my experience at Syracuse. So highly recommend those programs.
Thanks, Will. How about you, Gretchen?
On campus, I'm a member of the College Democrats, which is a really cool opportunity to talk with like-minded students and kind of talk about current events and learn more that way, as well as get involved in the communities. We've like helped with local campaigns and bring in speakers to kind of learn more about Syracuse and national politics. I also have, I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but I started an initiative to increase turnout among like Gen Z voters at home in Illinois. So I've spent a lot of time working on that, and that's been a really exciting experience to try to figure out the best way to reach voters using social media, and gotten a lot of support from faculty and advisors on campus to make sure I'm doing that well and getting the best message I can out there.
Thank you, Gretchen. And Julia, can you tell us a little bit about your involvement?
Yeah. One of the organizations I'm involved with is called the Women's Network. It was founded at Syracuse University in 2018 by my good friend Jamie Binnick, and it helps women network with the alumni network that is at Syracuse University, which is really strong. And we brought in speakers to have them talk about their career journey. We held workshops, we have book clubs, and recently we expanded in the summer of 2020 to 42 campuses across the United States. And so this network is growing and it's huge. And we have nationwide speaker meetings, and it just connects women in all fields to their professions and also to one another to collaborate. And it's really great for kind of from college to career, because it doesn't restrict you to any field or any major or kind of any point in your career. And so I think that's really great. And another thing is I also do research with a professor on sustainability-based research, and we're actually retrofitting one of the apartments on South Campus here at Syracuse University. We're actually going to be putting solar panels and also putting new insulation on the walls to make it completely net zero and more sustainable.
Thank you. That's so exciting. So what I'd like to ask next, we have time for just a few more questions this evening, is why did each of you choose Syracuse? So when you had to make your decision as a high school senior, what made you choose Syracuse? So Sam, would you mind going first?
Yeah, so, when I was making my decision, there were a few things that I was kind of taking into account. The first thing was academics, and Syracuse University has incredible academics. I'm in Whitman and Newhouse, which are two very, very well-known programs, as well as the alumni network. That was something else that was very important to me, and someone who's a junior now looking for internships, and then in the next couple of months going to be looking for jobs. I can attest to how strong the SU alumni network is. I mean, everybody bleeds orange. I'll shoot a cold email to someone, say, hey, I'm an SU student. And they're like, hey, how's it going? It's very much a forever orange network. And so that was also really important. And then finally, kind of as we've been talking about, the extracurriculars, where can I get my hands-on experience that's outside of the classroom? And Syracuse just provided so many different kind of opportunities for that. And that was kind of how I made my decision.
Thanks, Sam. How about you, Will?
Yeah, so I come from an orange family. My dad went to Syracuse as well as his brother, and then 3 of my mom's siblings. So I definitely knew about the school before. But I think just what I was the most open to was the atmosphere. I was for everyone who's listening to the panel, I was telling everyone here earlier that when I toured Syracuse as a high school student, it was like the first gorgeous days of spring when everyone was out and about, which, spoiler alert, it's not like that all year in Syracuse. But it gave me a very strong insight into what the environment is like in terms of student life and how people at Syracuse want to be there and are proud to be there and love the school for a litany of reasons. I think what's also great about Syracuse is that going into it, I didn't know exactly what to expect, and I was so open to opportunities that I didn't know existed when I even came to campus. FYP was the only thing that I knew about before I came to Syracuse, and I had a friend who was in the organization, so that gave me really great insight into it before I went. But I didn't hear about Orange Seeds until I stepped on a campus for the first time, and I didn't know about the Launchpad until I had Linda for class, and I kind of stumbled into that opportunity. So what's awesome about Syracuse is that you never know where your path's going to lead, but you know it's going to lead you in the right direction, and you can't steer any way wrong.
Absolutely. Gretchen?
Yeah, so I applied to Syracuse because I'd heard about the Maxwell School and I knew I really wanted to study something government related. I knew that I was going to learn a ton about political science and have really cool opportunities there, which is definitely proven to be true. But really the piece that kind of flipped the switch and convinced me to come here was the community that I found. So I had the opportunity to apply for a scholarship my senior year of high school. So I was on campus with other students who were also applying for the scholarship. And instead of it being a kind of gross, competitive atmosphere, I had the most fun just talking with them. And I just knew that I was going to have really interesting conversations and have a really strong community and support network. And I really wanted to have that in college. So that has definitely been one of the most rewarding parts about being here. The academics and the community, both really strong.
Thank you. I'm sensing a lot of common themes here, as I'm listening to everybody share their answers. And then Julia, how about you?
Yeah, I'm just going to echo all the themes that everyone just said, but I knew when I was applying to college in high school that I wanted to go into an architecture program. So I applied to some programs that were on comprehensive campus, but also specifically architecture schools. And so into those types, I knew that I wanted to go to Syracuse because of the campus itself. It's a beautiful campus. It's comprehensive. The possibilities are really endless. And I felt as if even if I did change my mind, the campus would support me. And it was just great to be on campus, and everyone there wants to be there, like Will said, and you can feel it when you're here.
Yeah, I can echo that as well. I think that that's very true. I did my grad work at Syracuse many, many years ago. And even then it was the same exact feeling. And as I was on campus with my dad deciding on schools, that's what made it stick, was that feeling on campus, of just the energy of campus, the school spirit, and the community that existed within the university. So thank you everybody for sharing, why you chose Syracuse. I have one more question for you this evening. And my final question for you is, what advice do you have for incoming students? So Sam, would you like to go first?
Yeah, I think, one piece of advice that I'd have for incoming students is be sure, in your freshman year, is find that kind of balance between work and social life. In college, it's kind of one big time where you can meet new people, like I do at the Launchpad, and kind of, get out, meet new people, as well as academics. And then also, as you're looking for schools, I really am a big believer, as I mentioned before, comes down to alumni networks, academics, and extracurriculars. My 2 cents, but I think Syracuse has big check marks on all 3 of them.
Thank you. Will?
Yeah, kind of to piggyback off of what I was saying earlier about how staying open to opportunities is kind of what allowed me to try a bunch of different things when I was at school. So keeping an open mind when you're coming into college, you're going to college to learn and to grow, and you can't do that if you kind of hold yourself too reserved from the start. Understand that like some things don't come that quickly, and there are going to be tougher times, and you are going to struggle, but at the end of the day, you're going to meet people and participate in activities that are going to help you get through that. And then you'll succeed in the end.
Thanks, Will. Gretchen?
I would say reach out to advisors early in your freshman year when you get to college. So I came in knowing I wanted to do something with government, but really nothing more specific than that. So I tried to declare like 5 double majors at the same time and like had all these different directions. But then I had such great advisors kind of talk with me to figure out like what kind of specific impact I wanted to make with government, and help me figure out my personal interests, and made sure I wasn't limiting myself by trying to take on too much at once, and really kind of crystallizing the actual impact that I want to make in the world. And then that has prepared me well to go achieve it and have that impact. And I wouldn't have that on my own by any means. And so really taking advantage of the big support group that's there for you on campus and building those relationships early, I think is the best way to get you prepared later on down the road.
Great advice. Thank you. And then Julia.
Similar to what everyone's saying, definitely put yourself in like uncomfortable situations that are new, and do things that you haven't done before. Like that's how you grow, and that's how you find out what's available and what opportunities are out there. And basically expect the unexpected, because that's what Syracuse really offers.
Thank you. Earlier today, I actually ran a report to see who was going to be joining us this evening. And we have students from every one of our colleges here watching the session today. So that's what I'll start with. And then I also wanted to see where everybody was from. And so this evening, we actually have students from here. I'm going to run through my list: Arizona, California, Connecticut, Delaware, Florida, Georgia, Indiana, Kansas, Massachusetts, Maryland, Maine, North Carolina, New Jersey, Nevada, New York, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, West Virginia, and we also have an international student joining us here from India. So we have students here from all over the US and abroad. So just thank you for taking the time to join us. We are going to jump into our Q&A in just a moment. If there's any questions that have been unanswered, but I just wanted to just thank you for taking your time this evening to listen to our panel and to be here with us. And this year we had the most applicants we've ever received. We had the most applications that Syracuse has ever seen in its history, and that made our admissions decisions really, really challenging this year because we had so many great applicants, and we are so happy that you took your time to join us, and we're so happy and hope that you will join our Orange family. So with that said, I would like to invite our other panelists that have been in the background since the very beginning. I'd like to invite them back on screen. And if there are any unanswered questions, we will be able to answer those now. And if there are no more questions, and I'll just give it a minute to see if any extra questions come in. I'm going to share my screen for one moment at the very end that has all of our contact information. So, you'll be able to contact our offices, whether you have admissions questions, whether you have questions about the Blackstone Launchpad, whether you have questions about honors, whether you have questions about the source. I will share all of that contact information right now. And we're happy to help. That's what we're here for. We're so glad that you took the time to attend our program this evening, and really just please stay in touch with us. It doesn't look like we have any questions that have come in the Q&A. My colleague, Tammy Blue Wolf Kennedy, is in the background, and she has been doing a great job answering questions. So we don't have any other questions this evening, but please continue to stay in touch with us. We are more than happy to help. And I would just like to give a huge thank you at the very end now to all of the panelists who joined me this evening. It was so great to have you here. The sun is almost setting in Syracuse, and we had a beautiful sunny day. So to my panelists, go outside and enjoy the last few minutes of sunshine here we have. We see the sun going down behind Will here. And for everybody else who joined us this evening, please have a great rest of your evening. Stay in touch, and thank you again for joining us. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.